Hello everyone, welcome to the annual Conite 3 Scary Stories for Halloween. I'm your host, Mr. Conite Man. Let's get straight into it. So, in our first story for the night, an individual is presented with a certain situation in which something unexpected happens. Think about what you would do in this first story, entitled Something Unexpected Happened. So, there was a young boy, no older than 10 years old and no younger than 8 years old. And he was having some sort of a gathering, some sort of an event with his friends. And they were all going into this general area that was close to where they all congregated. And it was no earlier than 5 p.m. and no later than 7 p.m. And in this group, there was no more than 8 individuals and no less than 7 individuals. And one person particular in question, the young boy mentioned earlier, he's talking with his friends, and they're having a battle. They're playing pretend. They're having a war, and they're all congregated up, and they're like, well, we have no more than 8 people and no less than 7 people, but it would be really nice if we had one more. And then the previously mentioned specified individual is like, well, we could get my brother. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, let's get his brother. And so they all go to his house, which is in the general area that they've congregated. They march up to the front door, single file line, and they go to the doorstep. They go in, knock, 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 and then they go in, knock, knock. They were all going through, and then they go to the front. They go to the stairs. They're all, centipede formation going up the stairs, and then they go around the corner into the hallway, and then they see the individual's room, and then they all spot the brother's room. And then they go to reach for the door, and they just feel this cold chill coming from under the door. And they're, everyone is just like hesitant. They're kind of like getting this weird feeling, and they slow down and then eventually stop. The first person in the line being the individual whose house this is, he stops reaching for the door handle and just stops right there. Everyone's then thinking, and everyone just like simultaneously comes to this conclusion. They're like, wait, you don't have a brother. Now, in tonight's second story, there is somewhat of an alternative motive being carried out by an individual which someone thought that they could trust. And this story is called The Backstabber. So, there was a young boy, but he's not as young as the other one. He was around 18 years old, so he's not even a young boy, he's a young man. And he is somebody who loves money. He loves money more than he loves life itself. His walls and his ceilings are adorned with cash. He's just constantly wants to be looking at money. And so he ended up starting this sort of business, but it was not official. He just was kind of doing this under the table, where he is, seemingly gathering materials, and he keeps turning them into backpacks. And he's selling these backpacks, and he's just, for some reason, he just decided that he's going to start creating and selling backpacks, and he seems to have a real knack for it. So he is just going out, he's going to the flea market, he's selling these backpacks, at like a decent price. It's enough to where people are like, they're buying them, and then he wants to up his production, so his friend suggests that he could get involved as well. So then now there's two 18-year-olds, and they are both working on, creating and selling these backpacks. And so the friend is asked by the main owner of the business to try on a backpack so that the owner of the business can see how it looks when it's on. Because before, he could only see himself in the mirror wearing it. So the friend tries on the backpack, and the owner tells him to look that way so that the owner can see how it looks from behind. And the friend does, and all of a sudden he feels a sharp pain in his back. And he turns around quickly and just looks in the owner of the business's eyes, and is, he's panicking. He's like, what happened? And then all of a sudden he's just, the friend is not getting any response from the owner of the business. He starts to panic, and he just feels like, this warm feeling, and then like on his back, and he touches his back, and he just, that sharp, pain is still there, and he just, touches it. He feels like wetness, and he looks, and then there's blood on his hands. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's final story deals with the topic of death, deals with the topic of existence and rebirth. So, the title of this story is Vanishing. So there was a nondescript individual who walked into a store, into a small store. And they enter the store, they're mindlessly browsing, and they just can't remember what it is they came to the store to buy. So then they're walking down the aisles, and they're looking at all the products, trying to jog their memory. They're trying to remember what it is that they came here for. And they're progressing down the aisles. They're going, down. They're seeing poison. They're seeing rope. They're seeing duct tape. They're seeing bombs. They're seeing knives. They're seeing guns. And they just keep walking down these aisles because none of this stuff is what they were looking for. So then they go down around the corner, down the next aisle, and then they see rat poison. They see rat knives. They see rat bombs. They see all these crazy things. And then they turn around and they go down the next aisle. And then they're approached by an individual who is sweeping the floor. He looks at the ground under the first person's feet. The sweeping individual looks at the ground, and then the individual themselves looks at the ground, and then they notice that they've been leaving muddy footprints all throughout the store. So then, without saying a word, they start backtracking their feet directly back onto the footprints that they had previously walked. They walk past all the rat bombs, they walk past all the rat knives, past all the rat poison, back around to the bombs, the knives, the poison, the rope, the duct tape, and all the way back out to the front to where by the carts are. And then they go back, walking all the way backward, and then they accidentally clip their heel on the corner of one of the shelves and go boom, hit the ground so hard, instantly cracking their head open, and they just make a brain slushy on the ground. And the janitor then, following the path of these muddy footprints back, is cleaning this all up, heading back over to where the footprints started, and then with a sigh, he finishes cleaning the footprints just to find the brain slushy.